Hello, this is Ben119 and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to carry on with my Twilight Princess HD dungeon design series. So we're up to dungeon number 6, and it's been a while since we've done one of these. My voice may have changed a tiny bit since. The last one I did I think was 5 or 6 months ago, which was Snow Peak Ruins. And I've not done Twilight Princess for a while because I'm not sure why. I think it's because of Pikmin 3 Deluxe coming out at the time and other stuff going on. But we're back, we're going to finish off the series, so let's get into it. So we're at dungeon number 6, which is the Temple of Time. And this is a really cool dungeon, I'm looking forward to talking about it. There's a lot of really good puzzles in it. It was one of those dungeons where when I was a lot younger, I didn't really like it that much. And I used to dread playing it every playthrough of Twilight Princess, but I actually really enjoy this dungeon now. It's not my favourite, but I don't hate it. It's a pretty good dungeon. So we're going to head over here, and there is a ledge over there. So if you press the switch, it pops up this little step. I'm pretty sure you can use a pot, but I decided to use that statue. I'm not sure if you noticed as well, but there was a statue in a doorway, and there was an empty slot where the big statue was. So the idea of this dungeon is we need to get another statue into that place in order to open that main door there, and that door leads to the boss door. So let's just head down here, and there is a chest we can get over here. So there's 2 unlit torches, so if you use your brain you'll think I can use my jack-o'-lantern, and obviously when you light them you'll get a chest and you can get a key. A pretty cool little puzzle. It's a pretty basic puzzle for this point in the game. I still think it's nice how they're making you use different items, because I think at some point in this dungeon you do use the spinner, spoiler alert, and the spinner is a very underused item. I just wish there was more use for it. And with like the jack-o'-lantern, not the jack-o'-lantern, the lantern oil, I always call it jack-o'-lantern, it's like Minecraft, but with the lantern, it's a bit underused as well. Like, you kind of use it in dark caves, and you sometimes use it for like torches, but other than that, there's nothing really you use it for. So we can get through this locked door, and if you can see there's some gates, and through this dungeon there is a lot of instances where there's gates. And basically what you can do is when you go on a switch, it will open gates, but it will also shut gates. So as you can see, we can now get to this chest, and it has some arrows. It's a bit of a pointless chest, but we're obviously going to get everything, because then we can talk about everything in the dungeon, about every chest, how to get to each one. So in order to get through here, you need to destroy the pot, and that's because the gate behind you is closed, but the one in front of you is open. So if you stand in between both of them and then shoot the pot, the one in front of you will be closed, but you'll be inside that zone, so the one behind you will be open now. So it works out well, but if you just do that randomly when you're stood near the switch, it wouldn't really work. So there's just some Lizalfos. Now Lizalfos are pretty easy enemies in my opinion. This is just still pretty cool enemies, I guess, but they're a bit easy. So if you kill all the enemies in the room, it will spawn a chest, and we'll get that chest in a minute. Just before I do that, I'm just going to get this little chest, and I'm just going to start a puzzle. So there's some statues here, and obviously we're going to need to use them for something. So we're able to pick these statues up. They're not breakable, they're made out of metal. And there's 2 switches here, so obviously we need one on each switch. It's a pretty basic puzzle. The puzzles do get a lot harder later on. They just start off quite simple. I think they're just introducing you into the mechanics of the types of things we're going to see here. I think it's a pretty clever dungeon looking back at it. I don't know why I didn't like it so much. It can be quite a long dungeon if you don't know what you're doing, and some of the puzzles can take a while, but once you know what you're doing, it's fun. I think I didn't like how linear it was as well, because it is fairly linear. As you can see right here on the map, there's 8 floors. There's 2 Poes as well. But with a lot of dungeons, they have like a main room, and they have like loads of rooms branching off the main room, and you keep returning to the main room. And there's some like kind of mechanic, like with Lakebed Temple for example, you go to the main room quite a lot in that dungeon, and it's a very complex dungeon with all the different water flowing in different ways and all that. With this dungeon here, like, you're just travelling all the way to the top, and then you have to travel all the way to the bottom. It is more fun going back down though, because there is a lot more to do on the way down, and I'm not going to spoil why, but I'm just kind of doing this series as well for people who have never really played Twilight Princess, so I'm trying not to spoil the dungeons, I guess. As I'm going through them, I want to talk about them as I get to like certain points. As you can see right there, there's a Poe through that gate. I'm just clearing some of those Alphos, don't mind me. So there's a Poe in that gate on the right there. and we're not able to get through that gate yet, but later on when we get the dungeon item we will be able to. There's loads of those alphos. If you've ever played Link's crossbow training, there's a level which is this temple, and there's like loads of those alphos you have to kill. Link's crossbow training was pretty cool. But yeah, it's basically a shooting game based on Twilight Princess. So right there you have to use the spinner, and I do like how they add in little places to use the spinner, like little gaps and stairs, or they add like the odd bit in Hyrule Field, or just the odd place where you have to like open something up with it. But I still think it's a bit underused. Like when you look at Arbiter's Grounds, it's used so often. But there's an elevator in the middle of this room, and it can actually be pushed upwards as well. And what you need to do is you need to go down here and you need to get this statue, because we need 2 statues because there's 2 switches. So I got one of them here. This is the harder one to get to because you have to go all the way down and get it. So if we head over here, there's 2 switches. So we're going to put one of them on here, and then we just need to go for the other one. So the other one is just to the side here. I think what you're supposed to do is I think you're supposed to see the switches first. I'm trying to play through it fairly quick. So I'm basically going through and getting the things. Like I'm not showing off the switches first, then getting the things, because that'd just be slow. But there you go, once you put both of them on the switch, you'll see the platform raises up. If you're Link and you have one of them on the switch and you just stand on it, the platform will still raise up. So I guess that could show you what it will do, and then you'll have to look for the second statue. In this room here, there is some enemies, and you have to kill both of them. Now these enemies are a bit weird. I didn't really talk about this enemy before, even though there was one in like a few rooms ago. And basically in order to attack them you have to damage them from behind, and it's hard to like get behind them if you don't have the hidden skill. If you have the hidden skill where you can roll behind them like that, then you should be fine, but if you don't have the hidden skills then it can be annoying. But in that chest there is a stamp. Now that stamp isn't very hidden in my opinion. It's like one of the easiest stamps ever. If anything, this key chest here is actually harder to get to because you have to kill the enemies, but with the stamp chest you just have to go up the stairs and get it. It just seems really easy in my opinion, and if it was me designing this dungeon I would have swapped the chests around. But because what I think they should do, I know they wanted a puzzle to get the key. I think it's because in the original it's just rupees, but in this version, the HD version, they had to put like a stamp there instead. So I think if it was the original, the key chest should be harder than rupees, but if it's something like a stamp should be more of a hidden chest rather than like a chest out in the open, because a stamp is like something hidden, like a hidden collectible. So there we go, we can now use this key on the door. There's a lot of like just like going through rooms or having to find a key then open a door in a room. So there's a switch here, and that room we went into there, that's probably the most we're gonna go off the main path. Like it's very rare that we'll have to do that again. I think there is one other instance where we get the boss key, but we always follow the main path from now. So this puzzle's pretty cool. As you can see, there's these 2 rings. I think there's 3 rings actually. Oh no, there's just 2. So basically what you have to do is you have to shoot the switch from where you're at, and it basically changes these walls. I wish they had done it so you have to shoot it like more times, because it is quite simple in the way you have to do it, but you still have to think to shoot through the hole, and that's pretty clever in my opinion. It's a really nice little touch that they added. We just got the compass. If you don't know, the compass just shows off where chests are on the map, but I am getting every chest, so don't worry. So right here we have to shoot it from all the way back here, and it will open up the staircase. Now make sure to get the compass first because it will block the compass chest, and you'll obviously have to hit the switch again. So that's a cool little puzzle. It's pretty easy, but I guess it's just introducing you to the fact that you'll have to hit switches, because in this next room here there's another switch room, but this one's, I wouldn't say it's harder because it's still pretty easy what you have to do, but you kind of have to shoot the same switch from different angles, and there's enemies in this room. So if we stand here, we can shoot the switch. I like how there's a little circle we can stand on. It kind of indicates where you need to be. And there is a chest on the other side of this wall here, and we will be able to get to that later on, but at the moment we're not able to get to it. There may be a way of glitching to it, but I don't really know because I don't really know glitches in this game. But this is a armored Dinophos, and this is actually one of the enemies in the game that actually does put up a challenge. Now a lot of the enemies in this game, in my opinion, are really easy. You just hit them. This enemy is still pretty easy once you know how to kill him, but he's got like loads of armor on. You can't just spam, you kind of have to wait for the right moment, and he's a lot cleverer than other enemies, and he's a lot tougher. Like if regular those alphas were like that, it would make the whole game better. And a really weird design choice I think here. is in this one here, there's one there's like an armoured Lizalfos in here. But in the one just before it, there was an armoured Lizalfos and a regular one. I think what they should have done is they should have put the regular one and the armoured one in this one here because it's more of a challenge. I don't see why they put one on its own here and then they put in the one before it, they made it harder. I think what they should do is they should have turned it the other way around. There we go, we've completed the switch puzzle. It's a little complaint right there, but yeah, I just wanted to say that. So we're just going to go up these stairs here and we're going to enter another room. This next room here, even though I said there's no main rooms, there is some rooms that are kind of like main rooms, like that other big room. I kind of count as a main room, and this room here I kind of count as a main room as well. Because there's quite a lot to do in this room, and plus we will return to it, and there is a big puzzle in this room. And there is another room that leads off of it that leads to something really good. So what I want to do here is I'm going to kill every enemy. Now if you kill every enemy in this room you will get a reward for doing it. It is an optional reward, so if you're just playing through the game to complete it, then it's not really worth your time, but if you're playing through for everything, which I'm playing through to get everything, yeah, you want to kill everything. The funny thing is, thinking about it, I don't think I've actually completed Twilight Princess without like 100% in it. I've always 100%ed this game when I complete it. I've never played through it and just ignored all the side quests and all like the heart pieces. So here we go, we just killed all the enemies and the chest has appeared. So inside this chest I'm pretty sure it is just rupees, so it is pretty pointless. So let's go get it anyway. And this room here, now getting through this room for the first time is really easy, but getting through it for the second time is a bit of a pain. Well, it's not really a pain, it's pretty cool still what you have to do, but I'm just going to show you the room here. So there's like quite a bit to do at the top. As you can see there's like a hookshot target, but we're not going to go up there yet, because even if we do go up there I'm pretty sure we do need the dungeon item in order to complete what's up there. So as you can see we're on like a big set of scales. And there's statues, and what we have to do is we have to make that side heavier, so then we get lifted up, and then we need to go onto that side. So getting across here is pretty simple, you just need to work out to make one side heavier, but later on, getting back down, I'm not going to spoil why it's harder, but it just is a lot harder on what you have to do. It's not that hard, but it takes a little while, and if you don't know what you're doing, it'll probably take a while to figure out. This room's a bit annoying, there's all these little spikes that roll around the edge. And you have to just avoid them. So let's go up here, we got through that room, and there's some more Lizalfos. These are really cool enemies, Lizalfos. They're alright. Like, they're not very powerful, I like the way they look though, I think they're really cool looking. This room here is basically just death. I just call it like the room of death, because of all these spikes and this big thing swinging back. And then you've got this chest here which has a key in it, so make sure to get this chest, it's very important because I've forgotten this chest before in a casual playthrough. So what you want to do now is, oh, I just got hit by the thing, that's not very good. So wait until it moves and then run over to here. You can wait in the middle here by the way and not take damage. So run to this point here, grab this statue or grab a pot, wait for this to move, go around and then put it on the switch because it will deactivate the electric coming from there. And you kind of want that because then you're able to get through. So there we go, we can now get through nice and easy. More stairs, we're actually pretty near the top. So once I get to the mini boss of the dungeon I'm going to end the video and then I'm going to start part number 2 because I want them to be about 15 minutes each. I don't want to go over the 20-minute mark with these because I just want them to be under 20 minutes because they'll be nice and easy to watch and they're nice and easy to commentate that way as well. And I can make sure I'm focusing on all the good stuff without having to get distracted. So we got more of these statue enemies here, and after killing all these little bugs you do get a chest. But in order to progress we need to kill these statues as well. I think it's like a good dungeon so far. It's a little bit on the easy side for the 6th dungeon. I think the dungeons before this have been harder than this one. It's still a really cool dungeon. I really like all the style of it. I like the way it looks as well, the Temple of Time. It looks really nice. I didn't really like the way it looked before, but I think it does look really nice and posh and everything. It's a bit weird still how the Temple of Time is actually a dungeon rather than a place you get the Master Sword from. So yeah, so we just got a purple rupee from that chest there. And now we can head to the mini boss room so we can use our final key on the door. And we can do the mini boss next time. And I'm not sure if you noticed something, but throughout the dungeon there have been like these I guess, bell. They look a bit like bells, like massive bells. And they've just been around and they've not had any purpose, but we will see what they can do next time because they will have a purpose. And something very important in this room, the most important thing in the dungeon, is this statue that you're about to see, this statue up there. So that statue is obviously needed at the bottom of the dungeon, so we're going to do that next time. So if you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe if you're new around here. Make sure to watch part 1 and 2 and 3, and make sure to watch the previous videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.